So no, I did not get rid of my phone. Sorry guys, I look rough. Just got off of Slingin' Donuts, about to go get my hair blown out. But I have my foster kid top on because I will say this till I'm blue in the face. That man could not have taken me if I had actual fucking family who would have actually stopped him from what he was doing. But alas, here we are. So no, I did not get rid of my phone because again, I was still being completely controlled by him. Like I was free, but I was absolutely not free. And it's really hard for me to talk about because it's so freaking embarrassing. The fact that he still controlled me when I wasn't there, like he controlled every part of my life. And he, like, when you have Stockholm syndrome, guys, they convince you that you're guilty of something. And so, like, I knew I wasn't guilty of anything, but he would tell me that, like, what if they think that you're involved? What if they think, and it was just such a mind warp. So we're here, and one day I'm in church, I'm sitting there, and there was a missed call from a Las Vegas number, and it was on a Sunday, and I was like, that's really weird. And so they left a voicemail, and I end up listening to this voicemail after church, and it is like somebody who says they're an FBI investigator, and they said that they know that I'm guilty and that they're coming after me and how I'm going to end up going to prison. And it's this girl, and I am like sobbing. So I call Todd, who's the lead investigator, and I was like, Todd, what the hell is this? It's like the FBI, they're calling me, they say I'm guilty, I don't know what's happening. And he's like, no. And he's like, send me the voicemail. So I sent him the voicemail, I sent him the number that it came from, they traced the number, and it led back to, they called me and let me know, the woman that my husband was having an affair with. So he was having a long-running affair with a woman, and it was her who had called me. And my husband had sold insurance at one point from home. Well, guess what this lady was currently on probation for? Insurance fraud. That's right, insurance fraud. So this lady that he had been seeing and behind my back, and she had actually met my kids, y'all. She'd met my kids. She called me and told me that I was going to go to prison. Like, they were playing these jokes on me, and they were not jokes, guys. Like, they messed with my mind so much that I, like, was in constant terror that I was going to be arrested. And it was so awful. I could not handle it. And it was any knock, I would, like, freeze, and my kids would fly under the bed because my kids were afraid of knocks. In fact, they are still terrified of knocks. If somebody knocks at our door, my kids hide. And so there's a lot of trauma still. But I started to work, and so my bishop was very clear. You cannot have a job where you have to work while your kids are home, because they will not go to daycare. Your kids are very traumatized and they need you. We are going to cover your rent. We are going to cover your food. Somebody had literally gifted me like this old minivan that they had. He's like, the only thing you have to pay for is like gas and extras that you need. If you really want to get a job, just get a job for that. And so I started to clean houses. So I cleaned houses, and then I got a job unloading trucks. So while my kids were in school, I cleaned houses and I unloaded trucks, and I was there every single day when my kids got out of school, standing there waiting for them. Not in the car rider line. I would literally get out and wait outside the door because they needed to see me the minute that they walked out to know that they were safe. And that's how we lived our lives. And we got there until around, so we got flown out in July, and in November, my ex decides that I'm doing too good on my own. So he says he's coming to North Carolina, and I am freaking out. And I had not told him where I was. I was like, he can't know where I am. He can't know where I am. Like, he knows the state, but he doesn't know exactly where I am. Like, we're safe. I'm telling myself we're safe. Well, he had gone to a new church, still Mormon, but like a new ward. And he explained to them that he knew the Mormon church was hiding me and my kids. He didn't want to know where we are, but he just wanted to send a package. And so our records had been hidden, but there was a way for the bishop to see what ward that we were in. So he went in and he called my bishop and said, hey, I have this guy here. He says that you have his family. Like, he doesn't know where they are, but he, I found the records, and he just wants to send them a package. It's just a package. And my bishop was like, absolutely not. No way. And he's like, we're not going to, like, what does he want to send them? And he's like, just some toys. And so my bishop was like, okay, fine. Like, if you go through it and you make sure that there's nothing in that box that shouldn't be there, if you send it to me, I will get it to her. So that's what they did. The bishop sent it to my bishop brought it to me, and I took it home, and I opened it, and I gave the kids the stuff that was in there. And there was like 2 cell phones in there, like, so, because my boys always like to have cell phones to play little games on. And I didn't even think about it, guys. Like, I gave them, like, there were like really weird toys, like, that made no sense, and then these 2 cell phones. So my kids turned on the cell phones, they were playing on them, and they had them on for maybe an hour, and all of a sudden my bishop called me and was like, hey, I wanted to ask what's in the box. And I was like, just some random crap. And I was like, and then 2 cell phones for the boys to play games on. He said, shut them off right now. And I was like, what? He's like, shut them off. And so I shut them off. He's like, I want you to take somewhere, I want you to throw them away. So I took him somewhere, and I tossed him in a trash, and I was like, there's no way, like, he traced us that fast, there's no way. Well, there was. So pretty soon I get a call from the Attorney General's office and they say, Andrea, he's on his way to you. And I was like, what? They're like, we traced him. He bought a bus ticket. He's riding a Greyhound across country to North Carolina. And they were like, we're going to track him all the way through. We can't stop him because he's jumping bail in California, but he didn't have like restrictions in Nevada yet. And so they're like, all we can do is call California and see if like they'll want to pick him up on the way, but the chances are rare. Like, we don't know what to do except to tell you and your kids you got to be careful. So they called my bishop. They said he's on his way over there. You guys are going to have to get him out and hide him somewhere when he lands there. Like, you guys got to figure something out. So this is right around Thanksgiving, and he's riding a fucking bus across country. And they sent me a picture of him with like a baseball cap pulled over his face in the middle of a Greyhound. They had been tracing him all along and they knew that he was coming for us. And I was terrified. I was so scared. And all along he's texting me and he's telling me like, I have a surprise for you. I have a surprise for you. And I wasn't telling the investigators that he was texting me because I thought I was in trouble for him texting me. But I was like I thought I can hold him off. I thought that if I told him the things that he wanted to hear, that I was smart enough to hold him off, which is so insane. Like, the mind of person who's been kidnapped with Stockholm Syndrome is fucked. It's fucked. So I was like, I'm sure I can hold him off. Well, he ends up landing here, and I remember it was like Thanksgiving, and a family had invited us to their place. And it was like maybe the day before, and all of a sudden my bishop called me and was like, we got to get you out of the house. We got to get you. He knows where you are. We got to get you out of the house. So he takes me and the kids, and they check us into a really nice hotel and out in the middle of nowhere. And my kids were pumped. They were so pumped. So he told them that the plumbing broke in our apartment, and because of that we had to go stay in this fancy hotel, but don't worry because all your meals are paid for and you guys get to swim all day. And they were so pumped. They were so pumped. And he's like, I don't want you leaving this hotel unless it's to go to Thanksgiving dinner with that family. And I was like, okay. So we check into the hotel. I'm there with the kids. My ex is texting me. I'm coming. I have a surprise for you. I'm at Thanksgiving dinner with this family, and I'm getting text message, and all of a sudden he says, I'm here and I want my fucking kids. And I said, you can't have the kids. You can't have them. No. And he's like, I want my kids. I want my kids. If you don't want this to get bad for you, if you don't want me to tell everyone all the bad things you've done. And I'm like, I haven't done anything bad. And he's like, you think they'll believe you? And it was so fucked. I remember standing in the bathroom of those people's houses just sobbing while he told me that I had no choice but to hand over my kids. And I was like, I can't. So I called the police and I said, hey, so we're still married and like my ex is here and he's asking to see the kids and like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And they were like, ma'am, this is like a civil matter. Like, if he comes and he wants the kids and we show up and like there's no court order, like we're going to have to figure it out. But like, I mean, we're going to have to decide in front of your kids who they're going with. And I was like, I can't put my kids through the trauma again. And so he says, well, I just want the kids for a couple of days. And I was like, okay, well, how about like just a little bit of time? And he's like, fine, I'll meet you and we'll just do like a few hours. And I was like, okay. And so he's like, where can I meet you? And I told him to come to the hotel. I was so fucked in the head. I thought that if he met me somewhere on like common ground that I can control him. So I was like, you can come to this hotel and you can have the kids for a couple of hours.